Yeah, hello, good evening. It's another wonderful edition of Rhealyz Africa, hot topic on sexual and gender-based violence. And you're welcome to another wonderful edition. We believe that it's going to be a wonderful time and a wonderful engagement with you. My name is Ireti Adesida. I'm the team leader and program director of Rhealyz Africa. And I want to say that when it comes to issues of sexual and gender-based violence, it's something that we value so much. We want to see how we can end it in our society and what we can do to ensure that things are better and we can be in a better society. And presently, we have the 16 days of activism that is going on globally in terms of ending gender based violence and especially in the area of violence against women and girls. And one thing about Realize Africa is that we have a major approach, we have a major concern when it comes to issues of gender based violence. How can we end it? Because every day when you switch on your TV, you read the news, checking the channels, you see a lot of issues of gender-based violence. Someone is raped, someone is being domestically abused. We have a lot of things like that. So today we'll be talking about the culture of silence. A lot of people, most of the time, when they are abused, they just decide to just keep quiet. They are not really interested in pursuing whatever is happening, and we feel that it's high time we should look at how we can build a synergy and engage communities, engage people on how we can reduce and prevent this culture of silence that is all around us, that is really affecting us. I see it as a pandemic and it's a major issue. And we have two guests. They are going to join me. I'm still expecting that they are going to join me in the studio. We have Betty Abah. She's the executive director of CO. And again, also, she's a women and children rights activist. She's very passionate about issues of gender-based violence, and she's a major activist. And also, I have also someone, a friend in the house too. She's also going to be part of us. That's Origbemisoye Oluwatomisin. She's a lawyer. She's very, very active when it comes to issues of pro bono and ensuring how she can help out in various communities. But before I start, I'm going to share some videos with you. But it's always good for us to have an understanding of what sexual and gender-based violence is all about. So I have a video on what sexual and gender-based violence is all about. Then again, also I have another video from Realize Africa because one thing is that we have to practice what we preach. So we have like two videos, one on rape and the other one talks about female genital mutilation because we also feel that we need to see how we can eradicate this. And let me also shock you. Presently, Christmas is what they call that's in terms of female genital mutilation. There's what we call Christmas cutting where children, girls, young ones are being circumcised during Christmas under the guise of the festive period. So we are going to raise a lot of advocacy on that to see how we can put an end to that. And also Temilolaoluwa and Temilolaoluwa, because I always mix that's Temi. I'm very used to the word Temi. She's also going to join me to co-moderate today. She's still trying to set up our camera. Then we're hoping to have our guest. So without wasting time, let me just go straight to the video. Just stay tuned, enjoy the video before we start engaging. So just give me some minutes. I'm just going to show you the video and just enjoy it. Let's understand what gender-based violence is all about and what we need to do in our society.
What is gender-based violence? Gender-based violence, or GBV, is one of the most common and widespread human rights violations. GBV is violence directed against someone on the basis of their gender or sex, which results in physical, sexual, or psychological harm. These acts violate an individual's human rights. GBV is most commonly perpetrated by men against women, girls, and other vulnerable people. However, men can also be victims of gender violence. Who are the perpetrators? Non-partner violence is violence inflicted by someone you do not know well, like strangers, acquaintances, or colleagues. However, violence is generally perpetrated by someone you are close to. This is known as interpersonal violence, which is perpetrated by either a friend or a family member. Intimate partner violence is perpetrated by someone you are in an intimate partner relationship with, a lover, spouse, or an ex-partner. What are the different types of violence? Physical violence is the intentional use of physical force or threats of violence. From a pinch to a punch, any act or threat of violence is damaging, whether the damage can be seen or not. Sexual violence is forcing, intimidating, or even tricking someone to engage in any sexual act against their will. Any sexual act with someone who is unable to understand what they're doing or is unable to consent because of their age, an illness, disability, or the influence of alcohol or other drugs is sexual violence. Forcing a lover or spouse to engage in sexual acts is a form of sexual violence, either called marital rape or intimate partner rape. Sexual harassment is also a form of sexual violence that can either be verbal or physical. It occurs in private and public spaces, such as schools, workplaces, in the streets, and on public transport. Economic violence involves denying a person access to their money, economic activity, or other basic needs by either controlling their finances or stopping them from achieving financial independence. All these forms of violence may lead to emotional and physical trauma. Emotional violence can also include verbal abuse, humiliation, and controlling what a person can and cannot do. Emotional and economic violence are as equally damaging and disempowering as sexual and physical violence. These types of violence are often misunderstood or ignored by people, even those we turn to for help, like the police, the courts, and other support structures. No matter who you are, where you live, or who is inflicting it, GBV is never acceptable.
Sorry. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed that video. It's part of what we're doing in terms of ensuring so that we're able to set the stage about issues related to gender-based violence and in terms of issues that affect us in our community. And before also I set up, let me also show you one more video because while we try to set our panels, that's our panelists, because I know they are already connected from their various locations. So let me just show you one more video about rape. It's one of us, one of our volunteers, one of our team members, an active producer when it comes to issues of communication in Rhealyz Africa. His name is Baraka, though people also know him as Praise. So let me just show you that video. Then later on, we're going to start immediately on how we can end issues relating to sexual and gender-based violence in our society. Sorry, let me stop. I'm coming. Sorry, apologies. I'm trying to, let me get the audio for you. Sorry. Great. Okay.
Yeah, see, one moment, she's a fine girl. Before we know, she's already 85 girl. That poor boy, you say you want help. You take him down to a corner, you dey molest him because nobody's watching. Every human being is just like you. They don't ever have to become victims. And my voice is to beat the truth, to let you know that you would go free. Because when you rape somebody, sooner or later, you will pay for it. Sooner or later, you're gonna pay for it. Sooner or later, oh, sooner or later, yeah, yeah. Sooner or later, you will pay for it, yeah. Sooner or later, yeah, yeah. You will pay for it. Sooner or later, yeah. Sooner or later.
Okay, so that was just the video we have. So we're going to start now, and because it's already getting late, so let me call in. Let me call Temi to join us. Temi, hello, are you there? Temi, are you there? Hello, Temi. Oh, okay. I think she has issues with her camera. Oluwatomisin, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening. Nice connecting with you. Have happy engaging with you, and it's good.
Thank
It's
you.
good that we are connecting again on this platform.
Thank you so much. So
Yeah,
good to see your face.
yeah. So, and I believe also a lot of our listener, those who are going to watch, those who are going to view this project are going to see a lot and learn a lot about issues related to gender-based violence. So we're going to start, but let me call on Temi. Let me just settle down a bit. Let me call on my co-moderator. Let me hear from her because she was able to take some polls from teenagers across the divide, across the country. So let me hear from her. Then I'll be back to you. So hello, Temi. How are you doing?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Hello,
I'm fine,
Temi.
thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Can you hear
How
me?
are you? Yes, I can hear
I'm
you.
fine, thank you, sir.
I can hear you. Okay. So Temi is one of our interns. She's
All right.
also one of our media advocates. She's so passionate about issues related to young people and teenagers, and she has also gone to the street to engage people about the culture of silence and what can we do, what's the way forward. And she's so passionate about it. She's one of our trailblazers when it comes to media icon. And I also want to tell you that very soon you are going to see their special program because they are working on a program very soon. They are working on a program very soon that is related to issues of gender-based violence and also how young people can be involved and how people in the society can also be engaged. So she is leading the group of young people who are teenagers who are passionate about ending all forms of violence. So Temi, let me ask you. So, what can you just share with me? Can you work on your background? Your as a background audio. What's happening? Work on your background. I think the best thing is for you to
What's wrong
connect
with it?
again. There's an
Okay.
echo. There's an echo. There's an echo coming in. Can you work
All
on
right.
that? Okay, I think it's better now. So quick one. So can you just share some of the feedbacks? What was your poll? What was how you engaged other teenagers across? Because I know those who are viewing this program will want to know. Since you are one of our representative when it comes to the media, when it comes to teenage engagement, adolescent engagement. So what was your poll? What was your engagement? What's happening with your
All right,
audio?
sir. So from yesterday's poll, let me see what I can do about that. Let me see.
Okay, I think it's
Is it okay now?
yeah, it's okay. It's okay now.
How about now?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
So
So
go ahead. Yeah.
all right. So the okay. So the poll was put out yesterday to ascertain the thought of teenagers on the currently trending issue between Pius and Dr. Ifeyiwa, what all of us know about. So it's I just wrote something about the issue and made my readers know the gravity of what the husband did to the wife. And even in spite of that, I was able to come up with something like it should be dealt with. Should it be dealt with? That was the first option there. Then the other one was it
Okay.
probably deserves a second chance in probably should be given a second chance by the wife. And the other two ones were just put out there to know what but probably I would remain apathetic to the issue since it does not concern me. So the other one was like,
Yes.
people concern me. And lastly, the last one was like, well, I'll be like bicycle. So funnily, from
Okay.
what I was able to gather yesterday, I was able to see that majority of the stages that is out of the total of, because I had about 16 votes from different teenagers in different area of the country. 14 of them actually went for the man being dealt with accordingly, while just one
Okay.
was apathetic to the issue. I had no entry on the guy deserving the second chance. So this is a kind of thing that offers a perspective from the teens sector. I mean, from the teens
Yeah.
area, from the teens'
Space.
point
Yeah.
of view, that is they
Yeah.
are not tolerating the conventional way in which issues like this are being addressed. That is, there should be a change in the pattern of addressing issues like this. That is silence culture, the issue of reconciliation, though.
Oh. I think we lost that network. So I guess probably you try to connect again. So I'll go straight to Oluwatomisin, so that we'll be able to just set the record straight. Let me introduce Oluwatomisin Origbemisoye. She's a very passionate, let me say, young Nigerian, passionate lawyer, legal practitioner, and also she's a pro bono lawyer. And when it comes to pro bono, a lot of people you might want to ask the question, what's the meaning of pro bono? Pro bono means people that offer services to help people to stand in most of the time for free, trying to help the needy, ensuring justice in the society. So she's someone that is passionate about issues of justice in the society. So that's one of the things that she's so passionate about. So I'm very happy. Thank you very much to Oluwatomisin Origbemisoye for
You're
joining
welcome,
us.
sir.
She's
Thank
also
you.
a very, she's one of us. She's one of Rhealyz Africa, because I could remember almost 5-6 years ago, we're all together on radio. But
Yeah.
when it comes to, she's on a marital sabbatical now. So she's, once marriage comes into the picture, but we are so happy that she's still part of us, even
Thank you.
despite, being away where she is. And thank God for the support the husband is giving, because if your husband is also not supporting you, he's not going to allow you to be part of this show. So we
Sure,
are
sure.
happy to have you with us. So let me start with a question I have for you. So what's the position of the law as regards a woman that is beaten by her husband, abused before and during pregnancy, cheated on her, and again does not even feel that there's any need to be financially responsible? What do you think is the position of the law when it comes to things like that? Because a lot of people don't understand some of these things. I could remember in school in those days, most of the time when they want to suspend either some of these activists, or let me say union leaders in school, most of the time there are a lot of things that we break as students. Like when you walk through the lawn, it's an offense if you look at the book, but most of the time we don't know. But it's when you are now in that trap, that is when the law will come out. And it's always good that people should understand what's the position of the law when it comes to issues of domestic violence, a man beating his wife, issues of someone who is not even ready to take responsibility. We have instances whereby the man has some challenge, but we're looking at someone that is not even interested in taking responsibility, beating up a woman either during pregnancy or even after pregnancy, and again trying to also cheat on her. So what's the position of the law from your own viewpoint?
Thank you very much. Rarity, so nice to be with you
Yeah,
on a
same here.
program again. It's really been
So,
it's really been a while. It's really been a long time,
yeah,
but I'm so glad
yeah,
and happy to be here. Thank you. Good
yeah,
evening to
same here.
everyone. All right.
Yeah.
So straight to the question. I must say that it's gender-based violence, so it's a two-way thing. It's either it's the man or it's the woman, because, like you said, it's gender-based. So it's either a male
Mm,
or a female. Now the law makes provision for the generality, not like this is specifically for the women and this is specifically for the men. So for a
mm,
woman, like I shared with you sometimes before now about some of my experiences in my pro bono case, it depends on who is in the picture. Sometimes you have the male, sometimes you have the female. And the law has made several provisions, like there is judicial separation, which we don't really buy in Nigeria. Everybody just jumped to divorce. And of course, divorce is one of the provision of the law for if you're being abused or if you're being battered. There are grounds for divorce. There are like 5 grounds for divorce. If you feel you're being abused, if you're deserted, if the man deserted the marriage or the woman deserted the marriage, on the ground of bestiality, drunkenness, and
yeah.
even cheating and all that. All these provisions are in the Matrimonial Causes Act and the Marriage Act. If you can just look through for those that really want to get the knowledge, because I found out that most of us don't even want the knowledge. They just want the social thing. They just want to shout about it. Nobody's really ready to, get down to the roots of the matter. So there is judicial separation, like I said earlier, which we don't really buy into in Nigeria. And there are grounds, there are reasons, there are things you must put in your petition before the court. And then the court would ascertain that, okay, this marriage has broken down irretrievably and both parties should be separated. And this is what should happen on the children, on the custody of the children. financial wise, that is what should happen. This should be the responsibility of the husband, etc., etc. And there's a provision of the law on assault and battery. The criminal code makes provision for this. As a matter of fact, you are even liable to 1 year imprisonment. That's it. Aside option of penalty, you are liable to 1 year imprisonment for beating, assault and battery in Nigeria. In fact, in Nigeria, it's not differentiated. It is seen as one and same offense. So if you assaulted your wife, beating her, sitting on her stomach, and all that falls under assault and battery, of which the man can be charged to court for something like that. So I would say that the law has made adequate provision for us. But the question is, do we have the knowledge of this law? Do we know what is expected of us to do? And if we know, how do we go about it? It is not just you coming to make mouth and say blah, 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 blah. It is, are you ready to take action aside what you feel the culture, the community, or people would say about it? Like I said, there's judicial separation, there is divorce, there is assault and battery for criminal offenses, like a lot. The law has made provision, but these ones I mentioned are the, fixed ones, like stricto for matrimonial causes, that in for marriage purposes. These ones are for marriage, specifically for marriage purposes. And you can come. I mentioned judicial separation. Judicial separation does not mean that the marriage between you and the man has ended. No, that's not what judicial separation is. Judicial separation is just like, okay, let's have some time apart and let's see if we can work things out. If things don't work out eventually, then they can now proceed to divorce. Judicial separation means that the marriage is still existing, but to have some limitations. That's what it means. So I think we need to have a better knowledge of all these things. The law has made adequate provision. We are supposed to use and exploit.
Okay. Wow. So what you're trying to say now is that when it comes to issues of divorce, because I don't know whether you call us a layman or probably we are unlearned. So when it comes to issues of even when people take their cases to the court still gives room for a kind of how to amend, how to solve the issue. So it's not that, because most of the time people think that when it comes to issue of divorce, you just enter the court and they throw you out. So that means there's still room for you to change. Is that what the law is? That room given in the law court? Hello, Tomisin. Hello. 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 I guess. Hello. 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 Okay. So probably while we sort that out, because I guess there's an issue with that's our connection. So we hope that we'll still get Abah. Or sometimes these are some of the issues that we will try to fight. So in the meantime, let me connect. Let me also play another video for you. Or let me confirm whether she's back. Okay, she's not back. Okay, let me play also one of our videos. These are some of the things that we also do, because I told you that female genital mutilation is a major challenge we have around us. It's killing a lot. It's affecting us. It's affecting our communities. Affecting our society. And presently, December is the period whereby, under the disguise of celebration of Christmas, a lot of our girls are circumcised. A lot of our girls are caught one way or the other. So that's why I'm going to show one of our videos, one of our presentations, while I get what I also we connect back to, we connect our speakers together. So let me just show you that. Just enjoy that. It's one of our presentations. Sorry, let me trying to see. Sorry.
I said no to FGM. 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 Girls are dumb, girls are harm. Save their lives and raise their home. Said no to FGM. Said no to FGM. Said no to FGM. I said no, said no, said no to FGM. I said no to female genital mutilation. Oh, I said no to FGM. I said no to FGM and female genital mutilation.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was another song from us, from our team of young people who are passionate about ensuring ending sexual and gender-based violence. I was speaking to our lawyer, that's our pro bono lawyer, Oluwatomisin Origbemisoye, but we had us a connection breakdown there. And Betty Abah, who is also a woman and child right activist, she's still going to join. She just left the studio. She's going to join us very soon. So we hope that Oluwatomisin Origbemisoye will be able to join us, so that we'll be able to continue the discussion. So what I've also advised that we should do is that we should we should keep engaging. Okay, I think I have nice connecting again with Joe Akinwale. Wale, thank you very much. It's nice connecting with you. I appreciate you. I think Wale said something. Said, can an ordinary person get knowledge about all this law? Because most people are not aware of this. That's the question. Said, can an ordinary person get knowledge about all these laws? Because most people are not aware of this law. As a result, they die in silence. Thank you very much, Akinwale. It's, as I told you, it's nice connecting. He's also one of our very active volunteers. I think, okay, thank God. Okay, she's back. Hello, are you back?
Yes, I can hear
Hello.
you.
Okay, good.
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, okay. So I was asking a question the other time. I talked about the issue of divorce, but I think let's just go straight into the main discussion. Uh, okay, Ojo Akinwale is asking too that how can we also create more awareness about this, especially from how can we make the law simpler for the people? What's your take on that? How can the law be simpler? How can we make it simple for people? Because sometimes I won't lie to you, for those of us who are not in that system, once I open the constitution, I see section 1, section 2, subsection 3, subsection 4, and I was like, oh my god, how am I going to cram all these things? But I feel that it's high time that we should also understand the law, especially when it comes to issues of sexual and gender-based violence. So what's your take on how can we make the law simpler? How can we make it more friendly for people?
Okay, one thing I must say is that if you seek to get a knowledge, or if you're looking for a solution to a problem, you will go to
Yeah,
any
yeah,
length to get that solution. That's one. Two,
yeah.
I think the law to a large extent is simple enough because we have lawyers everywhere. And as I speak
Mm,
to you, there are several organizations offering pro bono services, free legal services. In fact, all you need to do is tell them what exactly your problem is, and they'll break it down for you into pieces. That's it.
yeah, yeah.
So there are organizations offering. There is network of pro bono lawyers. There is female lawyers in Nigeria. A lot ready to offer free services and make sure you're very comfortable. So if you don't even understand, if you walk to any of this organization or any of these persons, they are ready to take up your matter and help you, find a solution. And another thing I must say is all of us have Android phones now. Most people have Android phones. And then one way or the other, if you can connect, WhatsApp is everywhere. If you can connect to WhatsApp, it means you can connect to Google to a large extent.
Mm,
If you just type in something, what you're experiencing, and you can read, it will take you from one port to the other, from one port to the other. During one of my pro bono outings, like what I do sometimes free of charge, I have seen women that are completely illiterate, market women, and they will come and explain to you that, oh, this is it, this is it, this is it. Lawyer, I know that you can help me. How do I, how do we go
yeah,
about it? These women are illiterate,
yeah.
but they say, you are a lawyer. So because you're a lawyer, they know that you can actually provide at least a little solution, if not the last, at least solution to their
Yes.
problem. So they come to you and try to explain to you, oh, somebody did this to my daughter. My daughter is in my house with the child. How do I go about it? What do I do? And all that. And then because, okay, we put her through, we tell her what to do, how to go about it. And before you know, they go home smiling. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's God helping us, So I think the law is everywhere and it's not as hard as we think it is or as it used to be. There are people
Oh,
willing to even give it to you free of charge without even collecting a dime from you.
okay. I also want to also confirm this from you. You mentioned that because someone who is watching probably has a case, or probably is a victim, or probably is going through one challenge or the other and needs services of a lawyer. So, because I only know of FIDA, so you are telling me now there's network of pro bono lawyers. I think you mentioned something
Yes,
like
there's
that.
network of pro bono lawyers. Yes,
Okay,
there's
but how do
network
you
of pro
access
bono
them?
lawyers.
How can you access them?
I think you should just do a Google search. You'll just find a link one way or the other to them. However, I can supply you with their information subsequently, and then it can be out there if you want a direct or personal link to them. But however, I
Okay.
can make provision for a link, and then you can just get through to them. And there is Legal Aid Council. As terrible as one might say Legal Aid Council is, which I don't believe it is, if you get there and you say your problem, they will find a lawyer for you. They will tell you, just
Okay.
hold on. They will help you get a lawyer or something. They will just try to make you feel better. So I feel just go out. In fact, I can even say if you go to Ministry of Justice, or if you go to the High Court, if you go to the High Court and you just go to High Court when court is sitting, you will definitely find a lawyer that is ready to listen to you. It might just not be pro bono, but you will definitely find a lawyer that will tell you, okay, these are the legal steps you can take to make things better for you. So like I said earlier, if you seek for knowledge, if you want a solution to something, you would definitely find it. If you don't want to keep wallowing in your ignorance and you come out to speak up and look for solution, you would definitely find one.
Okay, okay. So, well, I think what we'll do is that we'll still look at other engagements. Probably we'll set up a day for how to access, justice in terms of some of these opportunities. But because of time and so that we remain focused, let's just focus on the topic about the issue of culture of silence. So let me just go to the second question. It says that what can the law do in situations where victims of domestic violence have reconciled severally with their partners and the abuse continues? Can a third party or state step in to ensure justice? So what happens?
Okay, how would you define a third party or the state? I just want to hear
Like
from you.
can I, for example, now let's assume now can Rhealyz Africa decide that okay, we want to take up this case, even if this woman is not even interested in it? Or what can, like, we're looking at
Okay,
how
so
can, like, CSOs waging now when someone is let's assume someone has been going in and out of marriage, reconciliation has been coming up and down, the cultural idea of oh yeah, go and beg your husband, oh yeah, begging, oh beg your wife, oh yeah, let's forget about it, oh yeah, smile, hug yourself. And at the end of everything now, we still probably after 1 week or 2 weeks, that case still occurs.
okay, I think the question still boils down to the individual. What do you do as
Okay.
Rhealyz Naija when you want to fight for me and I say, Rhealyz, oh, please, oh, I'm fine, oh, I don't have trouble with my husband. Yes, it's my husband, he's beating me. Is it your business? As much as you want to take up the matter and get justice, because if Rhealyz Naija is taking up the matter on behalf of the person, that means Rhealyz Naija is probably paying a lawyer, because Rhealyz Naija is not a legal firm or something to stand in place for the woman. So what would Rhealyz Naija do when the woman says, or the man says, he's my husband, I love him just the
Hello.
way I'm praying for him, God would touch his heart. Hello?
Yeah, okay, I'm with you. You are back
What
now. Yeah.
would Rhealyz Naija? Okay, so what will Rhealyz Naija do in such situation where the woman or the man is contented and fine with that situation? What do you do? Because what I find most of the time is that it's not that they don't know that some people don't know that they can actually find access to this justice, but they feel that it is wrong. And it's my husband, you will change. And the religious houses will say, be praying, keep on praying for his heart. So in such situation, Rhealyz Naija, as much as you are passionate to help this woman or this man to come out of this predicament, you are handicapped because the woman has told you she does not need your help, or the man has told you he does not need your help. So in such situation, there is nothing we can do except the person, the individual says, okay, enough is enough. I am tired of being beaten. I am tired of being battered. I want a lasting solution to this. And then Rhealyz Naija can have the power to say, okay, yes, we are here to help you. We will deliver you from this torment. That's the way it works. So even if the law has all these provisions that we mentioned, there is judicial separation, there is, 1 year, even though the law has it, if you're not willing to exploit it, then it is useless to you, no matter how much suffering you're going through. So I think it boils down to the mentality and the mind of each individual on what they want to do. I have had situations like, let me just quickly give this scenario. So I was in church sometimes last week, and then we're doing a little bit of bridal shower for someone. And then a question was asked. So what happens when you have in-laws that are tormenting you, frustrating you, cheating you, forgetting the fact that you have your own mental capacity and all that, or to your husband that is beating and battering you and all that. So in the church program, they just said, you have to keep praying that God will touch them, God will fight for you. Of course, I believe that God will fight for you. And then I now stood up, I asked the second question. What happens to depression? What happens to the woman entering depression? What happens to sadness? What happens to emotional imbalance? What happens to all these things? Would prayer also solve all this problem? So that was my next question. Would prayer also solve all this problem? Because there is sadness and depression. There is mental torment. There is mental disorder. A lot of things can happen to the woman just from this thing you said she should be praying about. In such situation, do you expect the woman to keep praying and not take reasonable action to secure her life? They said it is not proper, divorce is wrong, and so you can't. I'm not soliciting for divorce. Like our topic, I know that to a large extent, I really support reconciliation, especially when the marriage has children. But if the life of any of the spouse is in danger, I think judicial separation should come to play. And like I said earlier on, separation does not mean the marriage has ended. It only means we are giving the marriage time to heal up, and to come better and stronger. But nevertheless, some separation end up in divorce because either of the spouse might just say, I am tired of this and I'm not coming back. And like I said, there are several grounds on which you can, like 8 grounds on which you can come on for judicial separation or divorce, and then you'll be fine. Because if there is a battery, you have to save your life first. For those of us that are passionate about our children, if you're not alive to take care of that children, you won't be able to tell what will become of that children in the future. That's just one. Because it's when you're alive that you can see to it that your child graduates from the university. Because eventually, maybe the man or the woman marries. There's a case, the woman married another man, and the man ended up abusing the child from the other man, from the other marriage. So we have this thing left and right. It's both for male and for the female. It boils down to the individual. What do you want? I think you should choose a good life for yourself and for the child.
Well, thank you very much, Oluwatomisin. That's been very, very explosive and very engaging. And again, also looking at it, it shows that it's a good, I really like the engagement and also the exposure and the exposition you are giving to this topic. Probably what we'll do is this. We'll still find a way of even still discussing some of these issues. Like some of these, let me use the word let me say mistakes we overlook. Like most of the time we find a lot of women and men dying in silence. Like you talked about the issue of depression. I was also saying that the issue of anger management. What have we done about anger management even within religious sectors or everywhere? Yes, we need to pray. But are we taking this man through anger management? Are we taking this woman through anger management? The same way we encourage people to go to the hospital, are we also doing that same thing? But I will still engage you on probably subsequent. But let me allow you to rest. We have Betsy Abah in the studio, so let me allow you to rest so that I'll just take the last question. Be back. So let me just welcome Betsy. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry.
I can hear you.
Just rushing.
Yeah. Good.
Sorry.
Yeah. Good evening. Well done. Yeah. So, nice connecting with you too. Yeah. Thank you. So I know because of our time, so that we'll just quickly also move on. I've introduced you at the beginning, and we are happy to see you. And we are happy about what you are doing with Sea Hope, and we work with you in different communities. And again, you are also working in different communities in Nigeria and even outside. We work with you in Monkey Village, which is a very fantastic community that has a lot of potentials. And we have a lot of girls in those communities that we are work with you on, because Monkey Village is another side attraction that a lot of people need to get into to see how they can offer help to girls that have promising career, promising future, and are ready to do whatever they need to ensure that things get better. So let me just start with the first question. Looking at the experience, like what happened in looking at the story that also came up in Benue. So do you see that there's a great need for NGOs to do a lot of post-VAP Act advocacy, engagement and sensitization to public office holders to ensure enforcement from the top? Do you see that there's a major role that we still need to play as CSOs, as non-state actors, to ensure that it's not just passing the law? We also need to engage our policymakers. We need to engage the government to understand the essence of this law and how this law protects. Because we should still give room for, like, let me say, probably there is still need to create more awareness and again engage more men into this cause. So, what do you think, like, the need of NGOs and CSOs in this area?
Thank you very much. And first of all, I would like to really commend you for what you are doing in Rhealyz Nigeria and for our partnership over the years. You were with us at the very right entrance into Monkey Village on Children's Day 2016, and you've been there 2 times this year alone. Thank you so much, and the children are always very happy to see you. You're just so amazing. Thank you, and thanks to the team at Rhealyz Nigeria. We really appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
I apologize for coming in late. I'm rushing out from another studio, and I would like to say, in response to your question, that yes, both the general public and office holders in Nigeria need a whole lot of sensitization about the Violence Against Persons Prevention Act, the VAP Act, and even generally about what the prescriptions of the law about in cases relating to domestic violence, gender-based violence, and all of that. Because you know that in Nigeria we have a culture of silence, we have a rape culture, we have a culture that is very misogynistic, and the general public, even among the women's talk, there's a lot of enabling factors, enabling personalities around the issues of gender-based violence. And in particular, I think I would like to say what happened in Benue is not just a disservice to this woman that has been asked to go back to a violent marriage. It's a disservice to every single woman in Nigeria, and it's a shame to public holders in Nigeria. It goes to show that even the state governor himself has no idea what the law says about in cases relating to domestic violence. Here you have a case of someone who came out publicly to admit that he was violent to his wife, and then he apologized. And rather than ensuring that the law takes its course, you ask for reconciliation, you ask for the woman to go back to that violent situation. And I keep asking, since it happened a few days ago, that what kind of precedence is this governor setting? Are you going to say that every single wife battery case in Benue is going to be handled by you? Are you going to, because incidentally, Benue State has passed the VAP law. So what's going to happen? Is the law going to be enforced as far as Benue State is concerned? Or are you going to use this same, what you've done to Mr. Agbo, are you going to apply the same to every other case? Because if a man in other parts of the state or around Makurdi is found to have violated his wife, is found to have violent to his wife, or even a woman is found to be guilty of being violent to her partner, and you go ahead to enforce the law to punish the person, it means you are not fair. Because people will say, but what is good for the goose should be good for the gander. So, and it also goes to show the impunity with which we live in this country, especially that by people who are in the position of power, who are supposed to show example, who are supposed to help in implementing these laws, are supposed to infuse some kind of sanity into the system. They are the same people that are enabling violence. They're the same people that are breaking the law, even in the glare of the general public. And so this is so unfortunate, and I hope that this case will be reversed. And on the general note, I'll say yes, that we need to do more of enlightenment. There are punishment for rape, but in most of the rape cases we've handled, at the end of the day, we meet a brick wall, because both the victim's family and the perpetrators have no idea what the law prescribes in these cases.
Yeah.
And so the police comes to the scene, and then the police utilizes the situation as an avenue to make money. And at the end of the day, no one cooperates with you anymore. So there's a whole lot of mass ignorance in this country. People need to be enlightened. And I think we should use this Benue case as a peg to ensure that people are enlightened and that the law is enforced. Because what this has done is to encourage impunity, is to encourage violence against gender-based violence. And when you even talk about violence, it's not just men who are being violent to their wives. It's even in cases you've had women who have been violent. Just a couple of years ago, I lost my own nephew to domestic violence. He was killed, He was stabbed to death, hearing because by his wife. So these things happen all the time. And then you see also the case that happened in Ibadan a few years ago, a couple of years back, the woman who stabbed her husband, the lawyer who stabbed her husband to death. This same thing happened about 2 years ago in Abuja. A woman stabbed her husband to death because that was a violent situation. And then people came around and said, no, you can just go back, you can just make up. How do you make up in a situation that is already tense, in partners that are already prone to violence, in a situation that just needs, like the lawyer said, and she spoke very well, the people just need to be separated, to just leave themselves for a time or a period and just cool off, and then go into kind of introspection, whether they want to really come back to the marriage or they want to move on with their lives, because it's actually better to live and be alive than to remain in the marriage to go back and die. So these are some of the issues that we really have to bring to the table as a society. I mean, what is marriage worth dying for? What should be the prescription? What does the law actually say in cases of domestic violence? And why are people being let off all the time? Because of culture of silence, because of this so-called culture of forgiveness. I say, okay, you go and make up. There are cases that are beyond repairs, and people should face that reality. Yeah.
Well, I like what you said. You added another, let me say, definition, that's in terms of culture of forgiveness. Most of the time we hide under that, and we just allow it to go. So, but let me also move to the next question. I know you were very active in the role of Ochanya, and let me say, I won't say coincidentally now, it's also the same. It also happened in Benue State, and we know also other CSOs came in. So, but what do you think now is the way forward for this doctor, this female doctor now? Are we going to just forget about it? Are we going to just move on? Or what do you think CSOs can do? Or can we still do anything? Because I was on also a project yesterday. We had a webinar, and the wife of a state governor also was on that webinar, and she was concerned about this, and she said, what can we do as CSOs? She also mentioned that they will also look at what they can do at their own level. That's been within that's at the government level. But she was also challenging CSOs. What can we do apart from what they are doing? What can we do to help out in situations like? So, what do you think we can do? Should we just forget about it and just move on and just say, well, it has happened, it has happened? What can we do as CSOs, and especially in Benue State, where also this thing happened?
I think for this particular case, incidentally, the woman in question is a medical doctor. She's learned.
Yeah.
And she is also social media savvy for her to have posted that video online. So I guess she must have been reading many of these comments. And most people going across Twitter, Facebook, most people are actually afraid for her life, for her safety, and for her the state of her mental health.
That's
yes.
it.
So I believe that she will want to take the right decision. She will want to go take like make up her mind to to be separated, even if it's a temporary separation. But personally, if I had found myself in that kind of situation, I'll just run for my life. If indeed what she narrated is true, you have
Yes,
you
that's
just
it.
go bed 4 months ago, and someone is strangling you. Not only strangling you, is sitting on the stitches where you just had a cut, your CS cut. And then while you were pregnant, the same person was beating you, hitting you in your stomach. I think that is just too much to bear. And when you have, what I've noticed over the years, when you have this consistent domestic violence situation, at the end of the day, most of the women die when it's consistent, because
No.
at a point it's just like a walking corpse. She's been hit on her chest, on her back, and now she's just waiting for the final push, and she just dies.
Yes.
Like the man that killed his wife in around the Egbeda area of Lagos. She said they had a shouting match, and he just pushed her, and then she fell back on her head and died. That could have actually have been the situation, but it was not just a one-off thing. It could have been like a consistent serial domestic abuse situation. And so I think that she will want to make up her mind. At the end of the day, the choice is actually it belongs to her. It's the
Yeah.
decision set at her table. She's the one that will make up her mind if she wants to remain or to just move on with her life. She's a medical doctor. She's doing well. I mean, she has the whole world ahead of her, and then she just has to move on, because people may want to stigmatize her, you are a divorcee. But I tell people it's actually good to be a living, thriving divorcee than to be a dead married woman. Because when you are dead, you're just dead, and there's nothing to it, nothing further to it. And so I think people she's reading what most people are writing online and on several forums. She's hearing and all of that. She wants to make up her mind on the next step. But because I know that when someone is a serial wife beater, a serial abuser, the person doesn't stop. A leopard does not automatically change his or her skin. It's
Yeah.
extremely difficult. Some people grow up, some people are indoctrinated, are socialized into the culture of domestic violence, because maybe they saw their fathers beating their mothers beating so it's like a culture to them. It's like a norm. And so they're not just going to stop. Before they know, they've done it again, they've hit you again. And so I think the best thing is for her actually to move on. But she has to also make up her mind. I'm talking about the general situation, whether in Benue or in other parts of the country. People just need enlightenment, because you can the much you can do is to advise, but they also, at the end of the day, they have to make up their mind. I've handled several cases. I just give you two quick instances. I handled a rape case about 4 years ago, about 6 years ago, in 2014, in a community in Lagos, in Ogun State, very close to Lagos. A girl that was gang raped by 4 young men, and I tried to intervene in the situation. I went to the community, and her grandmother accosted me and tried to mobilize a mob to beat me and my volunteer up in the community. And I remember one thing she said. She said, "A young woman, so what's your problem?" She was speaking in Yoruba. My Yoruba is not very good, but I have a little understanding. She said, "What is your business? This is my granddaughter that has been raped. I've forgiven her abusers. I've forgiven the rapists, and we've moved on. So why are you interested in this case? Get out of this community. Is she your granddaughter? She is my granddaughter. It's none of your business. Why are you prognosing? What's your business? What's your relationship with us?" And then she tried to mobilize. She went with us all the way out of the community, trying to mobilize a mob against us. Then a woman also that suffered domestic violence was brought to me sometime in 2015. So because the husband beat her up, kicked her out of the house naked. Neighbors had to close her. They brought her to my house. I got in touch with Project Alert, a prominent NGO here in Lagos working on domestic violence. And then we took the case to the police station. The husband was summoned and all of that. Had to write a guarantee, an undertaking. He wasn't going to beat her anymore. He wasn't going to be in touch with her. And then she went to her brother's house. And I thought that, okay, she was asked to go to her brother's house, that they had like, that was like the third or fourth time they were coming to the police station. The police people were already tired. The police station was actually tired of their case. And then you know what happened? About 6 days later, about a week after that incident, the man came to my house to threaten me. And then I had to bring in the police again, and he was arrested, and he cried and wrote another undertaking not to come near me. I had to actually leave the area. You know, I discovered later that it was this same woman that gave him my house address. They made up a week later over a bottle of Star and over some beers and pepper soup. Isiewu, and that was how they made up. Someone who was consistently beating you while you were pregnant will strip you naked each time. And they made up. So the last time I saw her, I think about 3 years ago, she was already pregnant with the second child. Then at that point, her child was 10 months. So, I mean, people, you can only do as much, but people have to take responsibilities for their lives. But for us, we have to keep shouting, we have to keep enlightening, and we have to keep holding the policy makers accountable so that they can enforce the laws and show example and use some people as examples to serve as deterrence. Because what the Benue State governor was supposed to have done was to have, because this man was a prominent broadcaster, a TV presenter, and this was a lawyer, and this case had gone viral. He was supposed to have shown good example by ensuring that this man is punished. And then that shows the political will that Benue State government has, the governor and indeed the Benue State government has a political way to implement the VAP law. But now, this is the same man pronouncing forgiveness as if he's God in public glare and asking the woman to go back to a hostile home without even recommending psychosocial support, counseling, or any mental health assistance, or separation, which should have been the best option. So I really think that our policymakers have failed us, and we have to keep screaming and holding them accountable. And then we have to also ensure that people are enlightened to know their rights, to enforce their rights. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm still going to ask you the last question, but let me ask the lawyer, so let me allow you to just take some time to rest. Then I'm going to ask you the last question about, because looking at it now, you talked about someone just settling a case, a life-threatening case, just all on the table of just a bottle of either stout or whatsoever it might be, or just we need to find a way of, and we're talking about our lives. So what we need to, I will still ask you that question, like, what's the way forward? How can we work on our young girls? How can we work on our young women to take their life as important, and also not to be blind? Because when people say love is blind, to me, love has eyes to see. So what can we do? So I'm going to ask you on that. Well, let me just quickly take a lawyer, then I'll be back to engage you on that. Oluwatomisin, I believe that you're also enjoying that conversation. Hello.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much, Mrs. Abah. I'm here.
Yeah, so let me take you on the last question because of our time. Well, as I told you, we are still going to come in, find other moments and of engagement to also talk more about this topic. And you also you heard from Ms. Abah about the aspect of when you have some of these victims who try to run away. So from your own experience as a pro bono legal practitioner, how has the culture of silence affected justice of victims? And what do you think can be done from your own experience? She has shared an experience whereby even the grandmother that is supposed to fight. And that's one of the things we say. For us men, we fight for women's rights. But sometimes we run away when we see women even fighting women, not even trying to support them. Looking at a situation whereby a grandmother that is supposed to support a daughter even in that situation, still saying that, oh, let's forget about it. So what do you think is the way? How can we salvage it? And what do you think, how has it affected justice when it comes to issues of gender-based violence or sexual and gender-based violence? Hello, I guess your network it's okay. Probably you will connect back. So okay, because of that, let me also, Madam Betty. So let me just round up with you while I try to also engage Oluwatomisin. So what's your take now? What's the way forward? I know you work with girls, you work with a lot of people, and there's a lot of engagement. So what's the message for a girl out there, for a woman out there who probably might be a victim or probably might not have experienced it, but might experience it later? What message do you have? Is it is relationship a gullible experience? Is it a gullible affair, or something that you need to be you have to be at alert, you have to be very sensitive to your environment? What message do you have for every girl and every woman out there?
Okay, I will say 3 major points. The first of all is to really value yourself as a young woman, as a middle-aged woman, as a grown woman. You have to really value yourself. And I say this because I'm a women's rights activist, and most of the gender-based violence is actually directed at women. You have to value yourself, because when you value yourself and when you enter a relationship and you see that you are being violated, the person does not show you respect. Either you suffer physical violence or verbal violence or anything that seems to dehumanize you or to lower the bars of your dignity. I think that someone just says self-esteem. Yes, you must have that self-esteem and ensure that you just walk out when you read the handwriting on the wall. Don't say he will change. It's because I'm a woman. No. Once you have self-esteem, you are always ready to be on the go. When you see that this relationship does not value you, but does not favor you, and there's no hope ahead, because a man that will be violent against you in a relationship starts from when you are dating, start from the courtship days. You will always see those signs. So be on the lookout for those signs, and then when you see the danger signs, you just ball out, just take a walk and move on with your life. And don't say my life starts and ends with this man. You never can tell you meet someone that is much better, because for peace of mind, your
Yes.
mental stability is very key to the progress you make in life. Value yourself. Number 2, ensure you empower yourself. Empower yourself. Most of the cases we handle, last week we had several cases of domestic violence just as in 1 week. And most of the time is because these women are not empowered. And so they say, okay, if I move out, how do I survive? How would my children survive? So learn some skills, get some education so that you are financially independent. We are not even saying because of you get married planning to get out. No, because apart from domestic violence, death could occur. There are so many widows that are extremely vulnerable, especially this COVID-19 period, because they are not economically empowered. And at the end of the day, there's nothing to fall back on. So be empowered, and so that whatever happens, you can take a stand on your own. That's why so many people are really surprised, because this doctor we're talking about is a medical doctor who can stand on her own. So why would she continue to endure this kind of very violent marriage relationship? And then third, the one I would say is, don't let the society dictate your life. Don't let the society dictate your life. Be a person of your own. Don't let the society dictate your life, because when you continue to think about stigma, when you continue to think about what people say, when you continue to think about how people will view you, you will not take any step that will favor you. You will not make the best of your life. And you have a lot of potential. Every single person is blessed by God with so much potential, whether you are a man or a woman. So just be focused. And when the situation does not favor you, just move on with your life. Don't be taken aback. Don't be distracted by what people will say. Just people will always say people always say things, whether it's positive or negative, whether you take an action or not. Just be focused as a young person. Empower yourself, have self-esteem, and don't look at, because we are in a society that is really, really very retrogressive, very, very conservative, and very is a very, very patriarchal society. You see even women putting other women down. I've had to fight people on Facebook today because they feel that the woman is also violent. I said, but this is a man that came came out in the public to say he is guilty of those accusations and he's sorry. And you are saying no, he's not guilty. Or you are trying to justify this violence and say that the woman is also violent. But he had opportunity to say all of that, and he never said those things. In any case, if the woman is violent and the man is violent, then they should go their separate ways before they kill themselves. That is just the solution. So people should ensure that they are enlightened as much as possible. empower yourself, have self-esteem, and be focused. And you will not fall into these bad relationship traps.
Well, thank you very much. You really said it, because there was an engagement too also when we are discussing about this issue, that even there's a likelihood that a woman like that is being exposed even to become violent, because now it's like when you put a woman in a cage, the only way now, because she has voiced out and someone has silenced the word of the society, silenced her. So the only thing now she has to do is, oh, how can I find my own solution? How can I just, because there's a likelihood, we don't pray that, you know, women like that go into depression, women like that go into suicidal thought, which we don't pray that such as. But most of the time we do also, we don't pray, but we are not intervening. We need to intervene. Someone needs to, you know, as you mentioned, someone needs to take out through psychosocial evaluation. Someone needs to look at our emotional state. Someone even if there's anything that has to be done, okay, let's assume you are sorted. There must be an undertaking that has to be followed, because already now, like Temi, one of our teen advocates, said, you don't start what you cannot finish. It's so unfortunate that it was started, but it looks as if, but we just wish that CSOs, especially within and outside Benue State, can help a woman like that. So once again, we want to appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Sorry, let me say something. Okay. I wanted to say something I forgot. I think another point I have to add is also that women and girls, even boys, should learn to speak out when the relationship is going south. What happened to my nephew was that for 4 years, he was in a very violent relationship. We never knew. He ensured that he kept it secret. I know sometimes when it happens to men, it's also really, really serious, because they don't want to be seen as weak, the weaker vessels or weaklings. Then they keep quiet. This woman, that was not the first time he would stab my nephew. He would break bottles on his head. Before he died, one part of his ear was sliced off from one of those attacks. And then we never knew. Even when his siblings were with him, he always begged them not to tell the rest of the family members. So people should learn to speak up. You know, growing up, I always hear religious persons, elders and others, married, you are married. Everything that happens in your home should be kept secret. It should not involve domestic violence. Those things should not, domestic violence should not be part of those things. When you are suffering violence in any form, confide in people so that you can get the best counseling, so that you can take the best step before it's too late. Don't say you are keeping quiet. You will not be the first to get involved, to experience domestic violence, and you will probably not be the last. And COVID-19 has really exacerbated it. It's a global, we call it a pandemic within a pandemic. People are under a lot of pressure, and so they transfer it to the next vulnerable persons around them, their wives, their partners, their children, their households. And the people need to speak out, because you shouldn't die because someone else is experiencing pressure and cannot manage the pressure, cannot manage his or her anger. People should speak out before it's too late. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tuma. And we believe that we still engage you more, though I think there was one question too about issue of culture and everything. Then patriarchy also is there. We'll still talk about that. We'll arrange another subsequent editions to engage you on that, because you've been so wonderful when it comes to being a resource person to us. So, and greetings to all our girls in Moki Village. We extend our greetings to them, and we hope also we engage them one of these days. And this is a place that we need to build into a Silicon Valley.
Thank you. One of them is here. Wave at me.
Hello.
Promise. This is one of our guests from Monkey Village.
Happiness. Hello, how are you? God bless you. Yeah. So take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, and keep on being a wonderful girl. And we know that. Don't worry. There's no limit for you. Thank you very much, ma. And more grace and more blessings on what you do. We appreciate you. So, the quick one, because of our time, Oluwatomisin, I believe you are back. And thanks for your patience. I know also you've engaged. So, look at the question I asked you, like, how do you see the culture of silence and issues relating to when it comes to pro bono service and culture of silence, issue of justice? How can we find a solution? Is there a solution from your own experience?
Okay. Thank you very much. There are a lot. First, I want to address the issue of what can we do to young girls coming up. I think what we can do is prepare their mind. Help them have good self-esteem. Help them understand who they are. Let them know that they don't just belong to a man. Let them understand the concept of working hard and making their own money. Because just like Mrs. Betty said, most of all these abuses come when you cannot even do something for yourself and you have to keep relying on the other spouse to do everything for you. You know, sometimes, I must say that sometimes it's frustrating. You want to buy back the man, you want to eat the man, you want to take care of your child, the man, you want to do everything that surrounds your life, including your extended family, is on the man. One way or the other, you just find the man saying, what is your problem? Is it only me? No matter how angelic or, you know, human is trying to be. So like Mrs. Betty said, I just want to buttress the point that let's educate our young girls to understand that you can afford the hair you want by working hard. Work hard and earn your own money. By so doing, you know where to go to and how to go about your life. Then a very good self-esteem. Let them know that this self-esteem is very, very important to you. It even boils down to the clothes you wear and how you go about your life. Now that's on the girl child. And what I think CSOs can also do is also educate, create an avenue for all these girls to be educated. And not just the girls alone, even the boys. Let's tell them how it's being done. This is what you're expected to do to a female. The courtesy, you know, working. In fact, to the point of you don't have to be working before her. You have to work either beside or behind her. All these things, we should let them know and understand that this is how it's being done. The way we have a knowledge, that's why I say we have to unlearn. We have to unlearn some of the things we already have in our mind. For these young girls, we have to help them unlearn some things, you know, so that they can become better adults. Also, so for that, then also these CSOs can also sensitize women, even the ones that are old already, adults, they can sensitize them. And I want to say that how many counseling outfits do we have out there that is really accessible? That's another thing. We talk about the woman going into depression and all that. You need somebody to talk to. In this generation, you have to be careful.
Hello. I think probably we hope that. Hello. Hello. I think your network. Hello. Hello. Okay. Let's be hopeful that we'll be able to get her. But what is very important that we are so happy that you all engaged us today, and we are happy that it was a wonderful interaction. Okay. I think she's back, so that she could. Okay. Can you just quickly round up? Yeah.
Yes, so that's that on that. Like all the like the instances she mentioned, the Abuja incident, I was privy to that case file, so I have at least a reasonable information on what happened. About the Lagos, the Bono Lawyer, to a large extent, I have a little bit of, you know, because of my work, I have a little bit of information of what happened. But these things are built up. Like the anger is built up. Each thing is built up. What we saw was the last straw that broke the camel's back. I don't know if you can hear me. That's what we saw.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, what we saw was the last straw that broke the camel's back. There were a lot of other incidents that has transpired. Of course, it is a terrible thing for you to kill your partner. But once we discover all these red signs, you know, in the afternoon, somebody brought a knife and tried to attack you. In the evening, you know, it has happened in the afternoon. You never can tell. That's where the reconciliation thing comes in. If this thing happened in the afternoon, you know, your IQ sense just says that this should just run at this point in time. In fact, you should flee. And then because of the reconciliation and forgiveness and my spouse and love and all that, we just try to condone and, you know, take it and then, you know, swallow it up. And then we see the end result that is very terrible. And on the governance issue and policy, for crying out loud, I keep on saying, we are in Nigeria. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We're in Nigeria where things are not going the way they ought to. Yes, where things are not going the way they ought to go. You're a medical doctor. To a large extent, I'm sure you have you're enlightened. You have some very good information within, even if you cannot, if you talk to a fellow medical doctor that is, enlightened, they can tell you some things. We are, because we are in Nigeria, we should try as much as possible to go through the proper channel. She had already come, this is the way she came through. And because she came through that way, what we have in governance, our government have provided their own solution to a problem. But this is Nigeria. This is just Nigeria. We have to come to that reality, and we trust God that things will get better from where we are. But this is Nigeria. Going through the right and proper channel is of essence. And on the issue of silence, because I have limited time, going to the right channel is very important. And for reconciliation and you going back, like I said earlier when I started, it all boils down to the individual. Who are you? How far do you want to go in saving and delivering yourself? These children that you so care about, will you be alive to watch them grow and become what you want them to become? Are you financially capable to take care of this child if you're left alone? I in my pro bono case, in my pro bono work, I had an incident. The woman had 4 boys and wanted to leave the man, and she was jobless. And one of the babies, she had a baby who was 4 months, and she had, small children. And I'm like, okay, madam, if you leave this place, where are you going to? She said she'll go to her friend's place. You cannot afford to feed this child. You cannot afford a lot of things. And you want us to... So I said, see, first thing first, because of this violence, let's separate. Then we have to reach a consensus. This man has to be responsible, because to a large extent, you can't be responsible for these children. You can't, because you don't have anything you're doing. So each situation, requires, everybody's situation requires different approach or manner to which we can take care of it. Like I said, how many counseling outfits do we have that is accessible, that you can just work in and receive free of charge counseling services online, wherever it is, wherever? How many do we have? So these are issues that CSOs need to really look into. It's not, we shouldn't just be looking at it from a particular angle. I think we should look at it holistically. Like, let's look at it generally as well. In, like, you talked about the culture of silence. Of course, I experience it every time we start a matter, and along the line, except we now say it's against the state, the state has taken over, and then the woman is coming to say that this person is my husband. We cannot continue like this. What will happen to my children? He's the father of my children. I cannot lock him up. He has promised he will change. He will change and all that. And then we keep the culture of forgiveness. It's just there. And our mothers, older ones, are not even, sometimes I would say they are not helping situation, because all they will tell you is that you see, this thing has always been there. It is always normal for a man to cheat. You just have to endure and cope with it as a woman. You just have to manage it and all that. So it still boils down to, who are you? Aside governance, policies, laws, and all that, who are you and what do you want for yourself? Because if you know what you want for yourself, even though as good as Nigeria is right now, you will definitely get what you want if you take your stand. And like she said, one thing that is very important that I want every woman, every girl child to know is, you need to have something doing. Make ends meet for yourself. Work hard. Work hard. Make you may have women that are doing good in their profession. We have, of course, we know there's the marriage, childbearing, and all that is on the woman, which is a burden on one side that maybe some other time we can discuss. But against all, just have something you're doing that can put food on your table that you can use. If you know that you cannot take care of 10 children, 5 children, do family planning. Don't subject yourself to an unnecessary stress. The stress we go through in Nigeria is enough for you to now subject yourself to unnecessary stress. Like I mentioned the case I was telling you about the girl that has the baby. She had to come back to me and say, Auntie Lawyer, don't worry, we have already settled the matter. They say they will bring my child to me and all that. And she was like, I shouldn't bother myself. And she started avoiding me. It was a matter. She started avoiding me. So apart from sensitization, I think apart from sensitization, we need to really know what we want for ourselves. Yes, you can educate somebody. As much as you try to explain to them and tell them this is what it is, they still go the other way around. I could remember during the time of immunization, as good as immunization was, some persons still said that it was demonic, that you cannot immunize their children, and that it is against their religion and all that. And you see people keeping their children. away. They don't want you to immunize them. And it took extra effort from government to say that, see, anybody that is not allowed to be immunized, or you will call them and the police will come and arrest you and all that. And then before they, put their child down for you to immunize, something that is beneficial to them. So it all boils down to our mindset, learning, unlearning, relearning, trying to get to a particular point in our life, going through the right channel. Like I said earlier on, there are a lot of outfits available. I said the cheapest and the easiest is just go to any court, high court, magistrate court, and you will find a lawyer. You will definitely find a lawyer that will be willing to take up your matter and do something for you. Well, it might not now be free, but if the lawyer also sees that you don't have the financial capacity, can refer you to all these, like I mentioned, network of pro bono and all other freelance lawyer that can help you, settle your matter. But like I said, it still boils down to what do you want. Most people don't want their problem to be solved. Most people are enjoying it. Will I say they are enduring it? Let me say they are enduring it, and they are not willing to come out to speak up. Like you said, speak up. It starts from the young age. If they are suffering from something, come out, say it out, but say it to the right person. Put it through the right channel. If you can't, go to all these non-governmental organizations. They will help you go through the right channel. And I think by so doing, gradually we start having a better community. And for our young ones, I think the CSOs need to start working on the younger generation. So that even when the older generation fades away, like, of course, we know generations are going and generations are coming, their mind can be reorientated and things can start changing, from a particular set of people. The mindset of a man has to be responsible for my iPhone, a man has to be responsible for this. I think all those mindsets need to stop. And I think counseling outfit, this is time for them to really come out. Like she said, COVID-19 brought a pandemic within a pandemic. I cannot say how much sexual harassment, battery, and a lot of women have suffered during this period. So I truly feel counseling organizations should come to the aid and rescue. It's not only for suicide alone. It shouldn't be. There are other cases. I feel some persons are working cops. They are alive, but they are dead to a large extent. So counseling outfit should be established and be made accessible for the common man on the street in such a way that they can access it. Religious houses, people take their religion very, very seriously. Very, very seriously. And I think it's not enough for us to preach that we should pray about everything. It's good to pray. I don't deny the fact, let's solve the problem as well. The prayer without work, faith without work is death. If you have faith and you're not working your faith out, it's death. So religious houses should help when they are prepared, because people go through marriage counseling, isn't it? People go through marriage counseling before they get married. They will say, as long as you're doing a church marriage, you have to, as long as you're blessed in the church and you're doing, you have to go through the marriage counseling. If you're going through marriage counseling, the right thing should be said to them. If you're saying pray, when you see all this does not support divorce, yes, but there is separation, and of which after the separation, if we are able to amicably settle this relationship, we will come back. As a matter of fact, separation goes to the extent of the husband can come and visit you wherever you are living, and then after that, he goes back to his own abode to cop certain things. It is drunkenness and all that. So he stays in his own house if you cannot condone with the drunkenness, and you're in your own house. But it does not affect the marriage in any way. It doesn't affect the marriage in any way. So women and men, it's both ways, because men are also dying. And I think the one for the men is worse, because a woman can easily come out to say that, oh, this is what I'm suffering, oh, everybody save me. But for some men, they just die in silence.
The ego.
Yes, they just die in silence. So I feel the church, and most people will prefer to go to church to talk about this issue, because I see that, because I've been in the welfare department of the church for some time. So I see people even prefer to come more to church than to go to, to go to a lawyer or something. If these people come to the church, I feel the religious house, you should refer them to the proper channel. Oh, this is wrong. What you're taking is what is happening to you is very wrong. There's a lawyer, I think we should refer you to, feeder. I think we should refer you to this place. I think they will handle the matter properly. Why we pray for you?
Mental health and things like that.
And they say, why we pray for you? So while the prayer is ongoing, the other aspect, is ongoing. But the anger management, you can say, okay, because of this, we would, recommend that this and this takes place. In the meantime, while this woman is going through this rehabilitation process, we think you should give it that space and hope that she comes out better from the rehabilitation center. And with all these measures put in place, because I would not advise divorce. I usually say it, and I'll say it again. Once there's a child in marriage, I do not support divorce, because the child, when two infants are fighting, the grass gets to suffer, the children gets to suffer. In 2014, 2016 or thereabout, I read that in this year, 2020, we will have a chaotic society. I think it was a UN or WHO, because most children will come from broken homes. And because they are coming from broken homes, they would not have the proper training. They'll be trained by a single parent. And don't forget that a child needs both the father and the mother to survive. Yes, no matter what, even when there is a divorce, I still advise that the father should, if the father is sane, if the mother is sane, healthy and fine, the mother should still have access to the child, the father, because as much as we want to protect our selfish interests, these children need both parties to survive. No matter how terrible they are, they still need both parties to survive. So if the wife or the husband is sane and is still normal, and you should still allow, because if we keep encouraging divorce, every small thing, it now boils down to the fact that your wife says you're stupid, I'm divorcing you. My husband says I'm mad, he's threatening me, I'm divorcing. And forgetting that you have children, and these children will suffer a lot, because it's not about money. I usually say training a child is not just about one being financially capable to train a child. Apart from the financial aspect, the child needs to grow emotionally. The child needs to grow mentally. For the ladies, a lot of things is taking place in their body. Very soon they start menstruating and all that. How do you expect the father to start changing pad? Teach the child how to change a pad, how to sit down. Okay, it's time for you to start wearing bra and all this. All this should come from the role, because each party has a role to play. But I am not also saying that if your life is at stake, if you are going to die in a marriage, you should keep quiet and die in silence, because when you die, these children you so want to protect and live for,
You have to run for your life.
yes, they will become what you don't even expect, and you would be, in the end, you will be sad, and your partner will remarry, and life will continue. But to a large extent, if we can prevent ourselves from divorcing, it will go a long way to save our children. It will help them have a better future. And at large, a family starts from a society. The society starts with the family. It starts from the family. Everybody in the society today, all these our leaders, they came from a family. And we can see the impact of the family on each of our leaders, positively or negatively. This is where it all starts from. So when a mother is not there, or a father is not there, it comes to show, it is obvious. And all that. So all these things are what we need to put in place before you decide and say, I want divorce. Think. Divorce is very excellent with some certain circumstances. Judicial separation is good with some certain circumstances. It's not like any small thing you just say, I'm out of the marriage. These are some of a lot of things are just in place. And we have to treat every case or every scenario as being peculiar to the particular individual. And again, you are the one in the relationship. I'm rounding up. You're the one in the relationship. As much as I want to advise you on what to do, you are the one that knows your partner. You know your partner much more than I know your partner. You know what your partner is capable of doing. Since you know what your partner is capable of doing, why do you want to indulge him or her? You know that she has threatened you with knife in the afternoon. Before now, she hit you with a bottle on your head. Before now, she stabbed you on your chest. You should know that one day you will die. Of course, it's good enough to tell you that one day you will die. And you will die from the hands of your spouse. What are you supposed to do in such a situation? You run. You shouldn't wait. And if you look, I keep saying it, if you look for help, in Nigeria, as long as it's not you're begging, it's not that you're begging for money. Even people that beg for money, they eventually get. But if you are begging for a solution, people would rise up to help you one way or the other. So if you speak up, you will definitely get a solution. That's not to take much of our time. I think I'll just say thank you here. And then
Thank you
because
very much.
there's a lot to eat, a lot.
I know you are loaded. Don't worry. I know you are back because officially now you are in the presence of the whole world now. So I know you are back into the fold. So you are back joining our media team. So you are joining our resource persons team as Rhealyz Africa. So and I believe that our girls out there and our boys will be glad to have you because we need to have a special session for girls and boys to understand some of these things so that we'll be able to because sometimes some of these things were not taught in school, and even our parents did not teach us because they felt that this is still a small boy, this is still a small girl, and we miss some of these things. So it's high time that as Rhealyz Africa, we provide the necessary sexual and reproductive health right information, and again issues relating to gender-based violence. So once again, thank you very much, Oluwatosin Origbemisoye. I want to appreciate you. Thank you. As I said, you are back, so we keep on engaging. So I believe that we keep on seeing our faces. And again, also it's good to connect with Ojo Akinwale. I have a long read from him. He said a lot needs to still be done about creating awareness about gender-based violence, build confidence, and encourage everyone to speak out. And he said also there should be a separation between religion, culture, and real life, especially when it comes to gender-based violence. Said it's really great to connect with you, bro Ireti, and also Oluwatomisin. Thank you very much. And also, I'm happy to connect with you. One love together. We are all together. Keep up with the good work, Rhealyz Africa. So we are all in it together. We are part of the story, and we'll never forget anybody. We appreciate you. The work is much, as I always say. The harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. So let the laborers come back so that we can harvest more. So thank you very much. And then we believe that we'll be able to ensure that we end this culture of silence. So extend your greetings, my greetings to your family. And I also want to appreciate everybody that joined us, Janet Bangboshe, Temilolaoluwa down also, that has also been behind the scene trying to ensure that we get things right. And also Temilolaoluwa, also that was also part of us. I guess she has issues with her connectivity. That's why we were able to connect with her. And also Betty Abah, she has been a very great big supporter when it comes to issues like this. So thank you very much. So once again, I appreciate you, Tomisin, and do enjoy the rest of your day. And we believe that we'll keep on connecting. And also, Ifedayo, okay, Ifedayo Romeo said, okay, thank you very much, Ifedayo Romeo. We appreciate you, and let's keep in touch. Let's keep engaging. God bless you. So take care of yourself. And I want to say this, that it's been a wonderful edition on how we can end the culture of silence in our community, what we can do to make our world a better place, how we can help our women and our girls to raise up a better and safer society so that men and women, boys and girls can live in a very good, harmonious, strong, and affectionate society where we can all see ourselves as brothers and sisters, see ourselves as family, not thinking about the tribe, the culture, the tradition, or religion, but as one entity, one African, one Nigerian, so that we can live well. So my name is Ireti Adesida. I'm also sending much love from Rhealyz Africa. We love you, and make sure you are part of us. You can ensure that you engage with us. We have, let me just quickly, you can follow us on social media at Do It Right RGN, at Do It Right RGN, on Facebook, on Twitter, and also on Instagram. And if you want to be a member, you want to be part of our volunteers, if you're interested in engaging on media work, you want to advocate for girls and women, you want to do a lot of work as a young person, even as an adult, or you want to support what we are doing, please just make sure you just go online, just type www.rgnconnect.com, RGN Connects, that's plural, .com/volunteer. So make sure you also enjoy. You can also, if you want to support us, is rgnconnects.com/support. So that's how you can get engaged with us. So we want to say a very big thank you, and I'm going to round up with some of the videos we also showed at the beginning. One from Beraka, that's Praise, is known as Praise. He also did a video. One of us is one of our team members, one of music elites when it comes to content development. We had this video in celebration of 16 days of activism. Then there's another video on FGM, and I'm going to round off with just a sensitization about what gender-based violence is all about. So once again, from me to you, one love. God bless you, and see you, and make sure you take care of yourself. Bye. Sorry, I hope I didn't. Sorry, I just want to get it right. So sorry. Let me get the audio right, because that is very important. This song, okay.
Yeah, see, one moment, she's a fine girl. Before we know, she's already 85 girl. That poor boy, you say you want help. You take him down to a corner, you demolest him because nobody's watching. Every human being is just like you. They don't ever have to become victims. And my voice is the bitter truth to let you know that you would go free. Because when you rape somebody, sooner or later, you will pay for it. Sooner or later, you're gonna pay for it. Sooner or later, oh. Sooner or later, yeah, yeah. Sooner or later, you will pay for it. Yeah. Sooner or later, yeah, yeah. You will pay for it. Sooner or later, yeah. Sooner or later.
Thank you. So let me also share the other video with you. Let's see.
No to FGM. I said no to FGM. I said no to FGM. I said no to FGM. Girls are dumb, girls are home. Save their lives and raise their home. Said no to FGM. Said no to FGM. Said no to FGM. I said no, said no, said no to FGM. I said no, no, no to female genital mutilation. Oh, I said no to FGM. I said no to FGM and female genital mutilation.
What is gender-based violence? Gender-based violence, or GBV, is one of the most common and widespread human rights violations. GBV is violence directed against someone on the basis of their gender or sex, which results in physical, sexual, or psychological harm. These acts violate an individual's human rights. GBV is most commonly perpetrated by men against women, girls, and other vulnerable people. However, men can also be victims of gender violence. Who are the perpetrators? Non-partner violence is violence inflicted by someone you do not know well, like strangers, acquaintances, or colleagues. However, violence is generally perpetrated by someone you are close to. This is known as interpersonal violence, which is perpetrated by either a friend or a family member. Intimate partner violence is perpetrated by someone you are in an intimate partner relationship with, a lover, spouse, or an ex-partner. What are the different types of violence? Physical violence is the intentional use of physical force or threats of violence. From a pinch to a punch, any act or threat of violence is damaging, whether the damage can be seen or not. Sexual violence is forcing, intimidating, or even tricking someone to engage in any sexual act against their will. Any sexual act with someone who is unable to understand what they're doing or is unable to consent because of their age, an illness, disability, or the influence of alcohol or other drugs is sexual violence. Forcing a lover or spouse to engage in sexual acts is a form of sexual violence, either called marital rape or intimate partner rape. Sexual harassment is also a form of sexual violence that can either be verbal or physical. It occurs in private and public spaces, such as schools, workplaces, in the streets, and on public transport. Economic violence involves denying a person access to their money, economic activity, or other basic needs by either controlling their finances or stopping them from achieving financial independence. All these forms of violence may lead to emotional and physical trauma. Emotional violence can also include verbal abuse, humiliation, and controlling what a person can and cannot do. Emotional and economic violence are as equally damaging and disempowering as sexual and physical violence. These types of violence are often misunderstood or ignored by people, even those we turn to for help, like the police, the courts, and other support structures. No matter who you are, where you live, or who is inflicting it, GBV is never acceptable.